What is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports to help give you the edge for this NBA 10-game slate. Cannot wait to break it down. If you guys want to be entered into our $25 giveaway, please like, subscribe, and comment your favorite GPP play on tonight's slate in the comment section below. If you guys are brand new to this channel, we provide both free and paid content for all daily fantasy sports across all sports. If you could please show your support by hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, and of course smashing that like button for all of our future NBA content. If you would like to know more about becoming a better DFS player and taking down that big GPP, head over to www.patreon.com/DGFantasy for more information. On Patreon, we give advanced cheat sheets for all DFS sports on Draftkings. These cheat sheets include updated projections, ownership, and our overall favorite plays from slate to slate. We take it a step further by teaching you how to play fantasy sports like a shark, by showing you where the best leverage spots are to put you in the best spots to take down tourneys. Also included is our private Discord chat where you get to talk over the slate with everyone, including our coaches, to help build your lineups. Now let's go ahead and dive right into this NBA 10-game slate, but first I want to go over some Patreon success. In NBA, we had plenty of success, but more importantly, we had even more success in our Showdown, NFL Showdown leverage sheet. And the $500,000 to first place finish, we had a second place finish, technically 12th because there was an 11-way tie for first, was so close to sharing that prize. $66,000 was 0.5 points off of that prize, ended with only $2,000. Still a fantastic payout for this member. It turned $10 into $2,000. Yeah, so close. It was just on the edge. But that was our big winner, and here is the actual lineup compared to the $66,000 winner. So not 0.5 points off, it was 1 point. Looking over some other success though, we had the chalk hit last night, obviously in NBA. For any of you guys who showed up to the live stream, we talked about all the cash, all the chalk options, and they literally all hit. So hopefully you guys were able to take advantage in your double ups. I personally did not do very well in GPP's, but obvious reasons, the double up lineup did cash, so I still made money on the night. And then over here we had $13 turned into $142 on FanDuel, so it just goes to show you that you can translate some of our info over to FanDuel. And then also a $422 winner here on our NFL Showdown lineups. So now let's go ahead and switch over to the NBA content. Right now, we don't have any crazy straightforward teams, but we do have some slate-breaking injury news already. Right now, we have Cat out for a decent amount of time here. I think until the 3rd is what I saw. I have to fact check that. Don't hold me to it. But anyway, Naz Reid is expected to play. So that is the major injury news coming out of Minnesota. Some of these other injuries I can go through the entire slate, but we'll get to it once we cover the whole game. But just to name a few here, Cleveland is without Kevin Love. Going down the list, we have Indiana without Lamb still. We have Toronto out with McCaw. What's that? Miami's another good one. Miami's out without Butler. We have Minnesota without Karl-Anthony Towns, which I've already talked about. And then we're still awaiting on some other questionable news. But those are the major slate-breaking injury news here to start the day. Let's go ahead and talk about the very first game, TJ. The Knicks versus Cleveland. Let's go ahead and talk about the Cleveland side first, just because that's the more straightforward picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one guy that obviously sticks out like a sore thumb is going to be Andre Drummond at 8,700. I expect him to be fairly chalky in terms of cash. He's been a menace so far through his first 3 games. Only played 26 minutes against Philly. Obviously, Embiid did sit, so a little bit easier matchup against Dwight Howard, but he went off for 57 DraftKings points. So if Drummond can stay out of foul trouble, I do like the matchup down low against Julius Randle. So I fully expect Drummond to carry some ownership with guys like Kevin Love being ruled out. Okoro also out for Cleveland, and then Kevin Porter is yet to play this year. Yeah. So out. So I do like Drummond at 8,700. I could get behind some of these other guys, honestly, for Cleveland, who is one of the we got 4 undefeated teams, Matt. Yeah. One of them are the Cleveland Cavaliers. We got the Orlando Magic, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Indiana Pacers, along with Cleveland. So pretty hot start for the Cavs. They've been playing really well. I definitely think there's some cash plays here. One of them, Drummond, obviously. When Kevin Love exited to start that, or he didn't come back in the second quarter. So to start the third quarter, so the second half, Dante Exum actually started. So at 3,300, if Exum gets the start, I like him as a cash play. Somebody I want to keep an eye on to see if his minutes get a little bump or if he is projected to be a starter. Currently not a projected starter, what I'm seeing, but at 3,300, projected at 22 minutes. Yep. I like him as a last decent cash as well. So I just want to monitor these Cavs guys till we get a solidified starting lineup. But those are the two guys that definitely stick out for me right now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Dante Exum projected at 28% ownership, which is actually higher than Drummond. So we expect him to be even more chalky than Drummond. Drummond at 25% ownership at $8,700. Definitely like both those options.
What do you have Larry Nance at?
Just about to get to Nance, 18.3%. So more of a GPP option. Yeah, and he's been killing it too. So so $6,300. I definitely like him. And flipping over to the Knicks side though, the Knicks side is definitely not straightforward. Are you going to be looking at anybody on this team?
I feel like a broken record continuously talking about Alec Burks. He is questionable currently with an ankle injury, but he plays at 5,700. I like him more as a tournament play. In terms of cash, I don't think I'll get here at all. The Elfrid Payton price tag is still very enticing at 5,500, especially with Quickly slated to miss tonight's game as well. He was absolutely lights out against the Bucks. So I have some interest, more tournament plays though. Not really looking at wearing cash.
I do think we have to monitor Alec Burks because we know with 100%. Ankle injuries, it can go one way or the other. Sprained ankle is either really bad or not that bad. $5,700, 29 minutes is what he's projected at right now. That should give a bump to Elfrid Payton if he's sitting. Elfrid Payton's only $5,500. I can only expect that he's going to be very, very chalky if he does get that boost in minutes at, like, I'd say about 32 minutes if I had to guess. So definitely we're going to have to be paying attention to that. Let's go ahead on to the next game. We have Golden State and Detroit next. Golden State, it is still very questionable here with Draymond Green, I believe. Yeah, Draymond Green is expected to sit out again. So a similar picture to what we've seen. Do you have any interest in this team?
If I do, it's probably back to the well with Steph at 9,600. 25 shots against Chicago.
That's what I should be expecting.
The 65 DK point didn't quite get there, but 56 DraftKings points at 9,300 is definitely something that we will take. Shot 6 of 10 from, 5 of 15 from 3. So I like the fact that he even attempted 15 threes. Started off slow, had a much better second half against Chicago. So I do like Steph at 9,600. Besides that, no, I don't really have any interest currently.
Yeah, it's a pace down spot for Golden State against Detroit. Anybody playing against Detroit usually doesn't have a pace up spot. So the one thing I like about targeting Steph is in pace up games where he can just run up and down the floor, take threes early in the shot clock, and that's something he's not going to be able to do that much against Detroit versus Chicago. It was definitely the green light was on for Steph Curry. I completely agree with you here.
We actually see this is one of the higher over-unders that we have currently.
It is. I think it's more. Yeah. I think it's more because Golden State is playing at a higher pace. Okay. But yeah, I completely agree with you. It's not that bad of a game to target. It's just like if you look at the Chicago-Washington game a little bit later on.
Definitely. Yeah.
Definitely going to be comparing some of these other studs here on the slate.
Yep.
But yeah, on the Detroit side of the ball, do you have any interest? Mason Plumlee showing at 24.3% ownership.
Yeah, so assuming that Blake and Derrick Rose are both good to go today, I don't hate Plumlee. We talked about last stream Wendell Carter and Markkanen carrying the ownership, and I guess the narrative hasn't changed when you want to attack Golden State in their front court. Blake being back does affect Mason Plumlee a little bit, but Plumlee's played 32 minutes with or without Blake Griffin. So I definitely like him at 5,700 in terms of a cash play going up against Golden State, going to be banging down low with Wiseman and JTA. So that's definitely a matchup that Plumlee should be able to exploit. So yeah, I like Plumlee in cash at 5,700. But besides that, with Blake and Derrick Rose being back, I don't really have any interest in guys like the guys that we were on last night, like Killian Hayes, Josh Jackson, DeLon Wright. Obviously, I'll take a minute decrease because Derrick Rose is going to be playing off the bench. If I had to pick one of them, it would probably be DeLon Wright because I think his minutes are more solidified. But yeah, I'm definitely just looking at Plumlee as of now. Yeah, there are some tournament plays here for sure.
Yeah, and Jeremy Grant, I mean, they boosted up all these guys' price tag from last night. $6,500. I'm not going to touch guys like that, at least tonight specifically for Detroit. Let's go ahead and move on to the Boston-Indiana game. Your Boston Celtics playing at a lower over-under at 218.5. Two good defensive teams, I'd say. On the Boston side of things, do you like anybody? Jason Tatum sticking out here, 14.4%. We're still waiting for that ceiling game. I don't know if it's going to happen tonight, but what are your thoughts here?
I don't have any interest in any of these guys in cash. Simple, plain simple like that. I like Tatum for tournaments for sure. 20 shots in each of his first 3 games. So I don't know what that play call was against Indy to try and close that game out when they were down 1. but it is what it is. But yeah, I don't have any interest in these guys in terms of cash, but Tatum's definitely a tournament play at 8,800.
All right, not wasting any time. Let's go ahead and move on to Indiana. Do you like Sabonis at $8,600 at 9.9%? TJ Warren is even sticking out here at $5,900 at 11.7%. Or are we just looking at just GPP options here?
Yeah, again, just tourney options. Celtics and Pacers obviously just played the other night, so we kind of got a little bit as to what we could see tonight potentially. And again, just tournament plays from me.
Yeah.
And that's really, that Oladipo news is what we got late after the slate locked. I think we got it at like 7:15 when we got the Embiid and then Oladipo both back to back. We got that news breaking. So I would have been on a guy like Malcolm Brogdon.
For sure.
At 7,300 last game, but at 7,200 with Oladipo most likely playing after just sitting at 6,400,
right.
Just strictly tournament plays for me.
Yeah, and DraftKings adjust the price tags to what they did last game, and now with Oladipo back, doesn't make any sense to be taking any of these guys. At least having a good amount of exposure to these guys, probably one or two players, if that, for tournaments, big tournaments. Let's go ahead and switch over to Toronto. Even lower ownership on these guys. All GPP options. Do you want to take a stab at any one of these guys, TJ?
Yeah, I mean, I'll continuously be looking at Fred VanVleet if he is the least amount owned in relativity to Siakam and Lowry. I just like his upside, and if he's going to be the cheapest, that's where I like to go.
Yeah.
Strictly tournament plays. Nothing in terms of cash for me here either.
The one thing I like about Siakam is he always gets really heavy minutes, and at $8,200, the sky's the limit for Siakam. 4.1%. Personally, I like him. Again, depending on if Embiid does play tonight. Right now, his status is kind of up in the air. It's a game time decision. I expect he will play, but let's go ahead and talk about that picture here real quick. Embiid still at that $9,800 price tag. Is he an option if he is playing?
Yeah, I think so. Baines is very good defensively, but even still, it is tough to mark your guy, or not your guy, just Joel Embiid as a whole. So yeah, again, just tournament plays for me here, as long as Embiid does play, which it looks like he is going to after sitting because of his back. He's listed as probable currently. So as long as that doesn't change anything, then yeah, just tournament plays here for me in Philly. Again, if he does sit, we have to keep our eye on a guy like Tobias Harris at 7K, and then potentially going back to the well with Dwight Howard at 4,600. But again, I don't expect Embiid to miss another game. So yeah, just tournament plays here as well.
Again, guys, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but all these price tags are coming up based on what they did last game. So still heavy inflation in the price tags. Now let's go ahead and move on to some fireworks, TJ. We have Chicago and Washington. Chicago with Satoransky at 24.7%, near bottom of the barrel price tag at $3,500. He's projected at 21 minutes only. Are you taking a stab at any one of these guys? I feel like the ownership's really low on these guys.
So the big news that we're pending currently is Lauri Markkanen, who's considered questionable with a calf. So it is just a bruised calf, so it's nothing serious, but it is a possibility. I'm seeing that he might sit. So with him sitting, it does look like Thad Young is going to be back and playing tonight. So that's definitely an interesting dynamic. If Markkanen
in the game time decision.
Yeah, I'm seeing currently that he is probable.
Okay.
So we'll give him the nod that he will be back tonight in his first game for the Bulls this season. So definitely something to keep an eye on. I would assume he would be on a little bit of a minute restriction. But if Markkanen's out, that definitely opens up this game for sure, especially in the highest over-under that we see on the slate currently. I'm seeing it at 236 right now, which is
236. Wow, it's 233 on Fantasy Cruncher, so they must be hammering the over there.
Yeah, opened up at 233. I'm seeing, and it's already been bought up 3 points.
That's
crazy. It's currently live at a 236 over under. So yeah, we definitely need to monitor Lauri Markkanen. If Markkanen's out, I would assume Thad Young starts. I don't know if Thad Young comes off the bench. I would assume he would, and they would continue to run Patrick Williams at the 3. But yeah, definitely want to keep an eye on this game. I get Satoransky at 3,500. It's very cheap, so I wouldn't mind him as like a last play in cash as of now. That definitely could change throughout the day if he is going to see 20-plus minutes. So yeah, this is a game I want to monitor, especially with the Lauri Markkanen news. I think that's pretty big. I don't mind Levine as a tournament play at 8,400. Finally had a good game against Golden State. We talked about him on the stream last game so when he was 7,900 against Golden State. So yeah, definitely a game I want to keep my eye on. More tournament plays for me as of now, but that could definitely change if Markkanen is out.
Yeah, one player I definitely keep my eye on is Levine. Like you just said, 3.9% ownership is really, really low, and he's definitely a person that is that benefits from high over-unders. He had a 37.7% usage rate in his last game, playing 35 minutes, taking 23 shots. So if you thought he was going to be taking a lot of shots in the Golden State game, he should be taking more here in this Washington game. So love him for a tournament play, regardless of if anybody plays or sits. I just really like the upside there. Looking at Washington, so everybody's back. Russell Westbrook is a stud, at least on this team. At 19.4% ownership, it looks like people will be targeting him just because he is the man on that team and a very high over-under. Do you have any interest in Russell Westbrook or Bradley Beal?
I would definitely lean Russ, especially coming off a game where he just sat. I think that Bradley Beal at 9,300 is a little too pricey for me, with Russ being, good to go. But again, Matt, this is a very high over-under. Yeah. So if taking stabs at Russ and Bradley Beal, I definitely don't hate it.
Even Thomas Bryant down here.
Yeah, Thomas Bryant at 30 minutes. Again, targeting those Chicago bigs is something we'd love to do, along with Golden State bigs. So yeah, Thomas Bryant at 6,800. What do you have in ownership currently?
Not owned, 0.1%.
So yeah, I would love him in tournaments for sure. Denny
Adia, the J silent, remember?
Yeah, Adia, that's what it was. Thank you. Okay, yeah, we did the pronunciation before this. But even still, I can't get it. Yeah, so he actually got the start, looked really well, 4,600. He played 36 minutes, which I was really surprised from, the Israel native. So yeah, keep an eye on him at 4,600 as a decent tournament play. So yeah, again, a game I want to target for tournaments is definitely going to be the Chicago-Washington game. I could get behind Westbrook and Beal, and then Bryant 6,800. And then Adia, if he does start again, which I don't believe he would, because
Bertans was out last game, which is why
he was out. But Bertans had been coming off the bench. Maybe he does start at the 3. I don't know. Definitely, we're gonna have to keep an eye on this game because we do have the Chicago news that we're pending with Markkanen. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really good game to target for tournaments.
Absolutely, especially with all this low ownership. Let's go ahead and switch over to Milwaukee and Miami. Let's talk about Milwaukee first. Giannis, back to the well, 10.8K now. Continued to dominate the Knicks yet again. Last game, playing in only 32 minutes at 15.5%. Is this your pay-up option on the slate, TJ, or are you looking elsewhere?
I don't know yet. I'm kind of like in a middle-of-the-road type build today, but...
Okay.
But yeah, I could definitely see paying up for Giannis going up against Miami, especially with Butler being out. That's definitely going to be a tough matchup for Miami to try and cover him, I would assume. I mean, I don't know if they start Myers Leonard and Bam in the front court to try and counter Giannis and Brook Lopez and try and hope Bam can shut down Giannis. Leonard. Bam has had some success against Giannis in the past. Very good defender. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of lineup we see coming out from Miami. So I want to keep my eye on that. But yeah, I don't mind Giannis at 10-8. But besides that, I'm strictly looking at this side for tournaments.
Yeah, not too much. DiVincenzo got a price decrease here at $4,800. Like I said in the last video, I love what I saw from DiVincenzo on Christmas Day. Went back down to earth and got that price decrease. So I do like him playing 27 minutes in that starting rotation. But yeah, Giannis is probably the only guy I'm really looking at as far as tourneys and even cash. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to Miami, where we have Jimmy Butler out. So let's talk about the cash options here. Dragic, 29.3% is our thumbnail, by the way. Tyler Hero, 27.8% owned. And I know you have some stats on usage. Do you want to go ahead and just start out by talking about those guys?
Yeah, so last year, the 3 guys I wanted to hone in on were obviously Bam, Dragic, Hero, and I guess you can throw Duncan Robinson in there as well. Wanted to see what they look like with Jimmy Butler off the floor. So Bam actually gets a 1.1% usage bump. Dragic gets a 3% usage bump. Hero gets a 2.7% usage bump. And Duncan Robinson gets less than 1% usage bump. And the fantasy point per minute outcome with Jimmy Butler off the floor, Bam was a 1.31 fantasy point per minute. Dragic at a 1.12. Hero at a 0.93, and then Duncan Robinson at a 0.73. So I really like Dragic and Hero for cash, obviously, with Jimmy Butler being out. Dragic currently pegged for 28 minutes. Tyler Hero currently pegged for 34 minutes. And I kind of like Bam, too, at 8K, currently projected at 34 minutes. I like what I saw from him last year, obviously, after running the numbers with Butler off the floor.
It's a good matchup,
I like
too.
It is a tough matchup. I'd be interested to see if Bam covers Giannis and then if they reciprocate it, or if they throw Brook Lopez on Giannis to try and keep Giannis fresh in the offensive side of the ball. So I'm going to have to go back and see how they played it last year between these two teams. But yeah, Bam's off to a 1.18 fantasy point per minute. Goran Dragic through his first 2 games, 1.5 fantasy points per minute coming off the
Beast.
bench. Most likely going to be starting with Jimmy off the floor or Jimmy off the court tonight. I would assume he starts at point guard. So yeah, I want to make sure I know what the starting lineup is for this Miami team, but I really like Dragic and Hero for cash, and I also don't mind Bam in cash either.
Yeah, when you take Jimmy Butler off the court, you got to think who's going to be handling the ball. It's got to be Goran Dragic. We love playing him with just
Hero,
such a high usage boost. And obviously, we just talked about fantasy points per minute wise to start the season. Just unreal. So definitely like Goran Dragic. I think he'll be higher owned as the slate goes on, of course, barring any crazy injury news. But definitely my favorite options for the Miami, about to say Dolphins, Heat look very, very good for cash. Let's go ahead and move on to Orlando and OKC. Not too much to be said here. I know Vooch was a disappointing person for you in the last time. I believe you started him last game. Yeah. So 8,300 did not get a price increase or decrease at 12.9%. Are all these guys just tournament plays against OKC?
Yeah, Vooch got into foul trouble early, kind of messed up his minutes a little bit, and was a very big disappointment, unfortunately. But it is what it is. I still cashed that night because of Steph and Kuzma, so that was fantastic. Yeah, just tourney plays for me over here. Going up against OKC. OKC on a back-to-back as well. Nothing really sticks out to me currently when I'm looking at. I'll go back to the well with Vooch 100% if he's gonna be low eights. I'll definitely take chances on him in tournaments. But in terms of cash, I'm all set. Aaron Gordon at 6,300 is definitely intriguing if he actually sees the minutes and can stay out of foul trouble. But yeah, I think Vooch is a good play, and that's where I'm really looking at currently.
Somebody I really liked last game was Terrence Ross because he played in that high over under. He got that price increase, 5,300. It's not going to benefit him here in this game. But again, if he's going to be putting up volume shots, I do like him. In this high over under though, I'm not too high on either one of these teams. Let's go ahead and switch over to OKC. SGA. I know you hated him last night just because he was in a good spot. He came back, almost at value.
Yeah, he had a very strong second half. Yeah, he was right there at value. He was 8K. We needed him to get 40. He had 39.75. So didn't hate it. I wish he hit some bunnies that he missed a couple layups in the first half, which was pretty disappointing. But it is what it is. He had a strong second half, so he came back for me, and I appreciated that. But yeah, I don't mind him again at 8,100. I still think that's too cheap for a guy that's going to be manning the offense. Lou Dort has looked incredible through his first two games. So at 4,600, I don't hate Lou Dort.
No ownership.
Yeah, no ownership, and the minutes have been there for him. He's played 30-plus in his first two games, 34.5 minutes and then 32 minutes. George Hill, another guy that's been playing really well for them, starting at the 2, only playing around 24 to 25 minutes, but he still hit value in both games, so I don't hate him either at 4,800. His price is creeping up there a little bit. But yeah, and a guy like Darius Bazley's been playing well to start the year too. So I like SGA. I like Dort. Those would be my two guys that I'm looking at, but more tournament plays than cash plays currently.
Have limited exposure to both these teams because, again, this is a low over-under. So if there's going to be a couple guys that stand out, just make sure you don't have the entire team. Do not stack this game for sure. I would not recommend it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Pelicans and Phoenix. Right now it's at a 222.5 over-under. The Pelicans with Zion at $8,100. I actually got a price decrease. I like that. 9.1%. Brandon Ingram, Mr. Tournament Play himself, $8,200 at 2.1%. No, 2.5%. Insane. Why are these guys so low owned, TJ? You tell me.
Yeah, I don't know, Matt. But again, we keep talking about Zion and Ingram. If they're going to be priced close together, I'm still going to lean Ingram every single time. I just think he's been more productive than Zion. I mean, the shots that both of them are putting up are
both
insane.
of them have been great. Let's just say that.
Yeah, they've both been fantastic. But you know, if you're going to give me 22 to 23 shots for both of these guys, I'm just going to lean Ingram. I think he has a better chance to play more minutes. And I just like him as a more complete player as of now. I mean, Zion's played 38 minutes in his last two games, which is just absolutely insane. Something we are not used to seeing, especially as his rookie year last year. But yeah, I still lean Ingram if I'm looking at these two price tags and they're going to be close together like that. Lonzo looked fantastic against the Spurs as well, playing 37 minutes. These guys are getting a crazy amount of minutes, these starters. So yeah, again, just tournament plays for me. And, you know, obviously looking at Ingram and Zion as the two guys that stick out.
I call Brandon Ingram Mr. Tournament Play himself because in 2 of the 3 nights that he's been on, no, not even that. In 2 of the 3 nights that he's been on the slates, he's been in the optimal. Okay. 2 of the 3 nights so far. Take that as you will, guys. Just a high percentage chance to end in the optimal at 2.5%. Playing against Phoenix, guys, I don't hate it. So I can already tell you on the leverage sheet, he's going to be great. What's that?
the one game that he wasn't in the optimal, it was Zion.
Yeah,
Zion had 53
there
against
you
Miami.
go. Just
And
saying,
that was
guys.
the Christmas Day slate.
Take that
Yep.
as you will. Have exposure to either one of those guys
One
tonight.
of those guys for sure. Yep, definitely two guys you want to target in tournaments.
Getting me excited for winning $1 million tonight. All right, Phoenix. So let's go ahead and talk about these guys. 3.7% ownership. We had a huge debate about Devin Booker in our Discord about why he's so high priced. Right now he came down $400, $9,100. Still think that's a little overpriced, but again, 0.1% ownership. He has to step it up at some point, right? Chris Paul at $7,100, 3.7% ownership, and then Ayton at $7,400. This is one of the later games, so the ownership will be relatively low in general across the board for these guys. Do you have any interest in these guys for tournaments?
Yeah, I think I will, just because of the over-under sitting at a 113 team total for Phoenix. Yeah. I think Booker's going to snap out of this little slump that he's had to start the year eventually. It is tough when you have Chris Paul come over from OKC. I think that's an interesting dynamic that they need to continue to play together and get comfortable with one another in that backcourt, talking about Booker and Chris Paul. But yeah, I do apologize for my Jay Crowder pick last week, not last week, 2 nights ago, where I said I wouldn't mind him as a last piece in cash at 5K. He only played 25 minutes and only had 10 DraftKings points. So I do apologize for that. But yeah, definitely tournament plays, looking at Booker, Ayton, and Chris Paul. And yeah, that's kind of where my head's at. No cash plays for me there.
It just sticks out to me because of the ownership, man. They're all so low owned, and you're getting so much star power here. So I like all the ownership there. It's the same thing as you can say for the Pelicans too. So let's move on to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Right now they are without Cat. So my favorite play on the slate for cash is going to be Naz Reid. He was my hidden gem last year. I feel like he was always under owned, and then people started catching on. This guy's actually good at basketball. Yeah, now everybody knows. Naz Reid at 5.1K, playing 28 minutes, 46.3%. I don't have all the stats in front of me, but I know his usage rate is pretty darn high without Cat. TJ has me. Go ahead.
Yep. So last year with Cat off the floor, Naz Reid was a 1.09 fantasy point per minute and a 24.2% usage rate.
Really good for a center.
Fantastic. So I definitely agree with you on him on cash. He's definitely going to be a cash lock at 5,100. He'll probably be one of the chalkier plays on the slate.
And just a good matchup in general. Anybody playing against the Clippers, we know that they don't have a strong backcourt. So, 5.1K should easily hit value there. I think 28 minutes is a little conservative. Last game, he played 28 minutes on the dot, which is why they're predicting him there now. But I think just because of the matchup, he could be out there a little bit longer. So, D'Lo at $7,600, 15.7% ownership. Just, eye test. It's a little low. He only played 21 minutes in his last game. What are your thoughts here, just because of blowout? And his price tag went down because of that.
They got their doors going off. Exactly. Yeah, D'Lo last year, again, 1.21 fantasy points per minute, a 29% usage rate. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't hate him. I guess as a last piece in cash, but I think more of a tournament play. But like I said, if you do land there, if you're looking at like a middle pricing type build today, if you don't want to go up and get Giannis and you're looking at guys like Bam, Naz Reid, Hero, Dragic, what have you, if you throw D'Lo in there, I definitely don't hate it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have some interest in this game, Matt. Malik Beasley at 5,900. Anthony Edwards is currently projected at 30 minutes.
21 times when he was on the court for 29 minutes. That's insane.
Now, granted, he was on, obviously the blowout against the Lakers last game. But yeah, if he's going to shoot 20, I mean, I doubt he puts up 21 shots in a game where he isn't playing most of the second half because of a blowout. But yeah, even still, definitely somebody I want to keep an eye on for tournaments. Jared Culver is a guy that I've been pretty vocal about to start the year. I think he's looked pretty well. Had a little bit of a down game against the Lakers, but still played 29 minutes again in that blowout.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely have some interest in here, but Naz Reid for cash is definitely a go. And I wouldn't hate D'Lo as a last piece as of
definitely now. A good team to target for value, just in general, just because of Cat being out. Okogie is a game time decision. Also be paying attention to that. I think that would benefit the Timberwolves at this point if he is held out. So we could definitely see some bright spots here tonight for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's switch over to the Clippers.
We forgot something.
What's that?
We forgot about Kawhi. Kawhi getting the elbow from Ibaka. He's currently listed as questionable. So if Kawhi does sit, that is huge.
It's a slate breaker. And hopefully it comes out after lock for our Patreon members, just saying, because that's going to give us a huge edge.
Pivoting. Sure.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about it do you want to just say if Kawhi is held out, who we're going to target?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that, Matt. Okay. So if Kawhi does sit, so obviously he got the elbow from Serge Ibaka.
Brutal.
Yeah, which is brutal. And the one thing I did forget to do when I had my numbers here is I forgot to take Harrell off the court as well. So bear with me. Lucas Harrell, you are not a person. We need to take off Montrezl. Montrezl, my man. So if we're looking at Montrezl Harrell and Kawhi Leonard off the floor, Paul George gets a 37.5% usage rate at 1.5 fantasy points per minute.
Definitely not bad.
Say it again.
Definitely not bad. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, 7.7% usage bump as well. So definitely somebody we're going to be targeting in cash if Kawhi is held out with his mouth injury. And another guy that I'm 100% going to be looking at is going to be Lou Williams, who gets a 5.7% usage bump. He has a 33.8% usage rate and 1.3 fantasy points per minute, and only at 5,100. So if Kawhi is slated to sit, I definitely like Paul George and I definitely like Lou Williams. Those are the two guys that I will be looking at automatically. So I do believe that is huge news from Kawhi. Again, making sure you have your roster construction built properly with the guys that are playing earliest in those top 5 slots, and then making sure you have those bottom 3 slots with guys that are playing later, so that you do have the ability to swap, and it makes it easier when you want to modify your lineup. Because if we get this news after the slate locks that Kawhi is going to be held out, getting Paul George and getting Lou Williams in your lineups is going to be huge.
Right.
So I just want to reiterate that. Currently, the Clippers are 10.5-point favorites. If Kawhi does sit, obviously because Cat is out, I could see the spread going down to about maybe 7 points. Clippers would be 7-point favorites, so could stay somewhat competitive. So I would have no fear that Paul George pays off that 8,500 price tag and that Lou Williams easily pays off the 5,100 price tag. So definitely a game we want to monitor. Go ahead, Matt.
Another person that's been playing fantastic has been Nicholas Batum. If Kawhi is held out, he only played 21 minutes. Again, it was in a blowout, so don't look at that game. Yeah, he's gotten 37 DK points and 23.5, and he's Mr. Do-It-All. He doesn't have to rely on the shot, so you can only imagine if Kawhi is held out, he's going to have to shoot the ball at some point. Definitely love him for some value. I think he's just been an under-the-radar guy at 1.5%. So talk about a late-night hammer. It's going to be from the Clippers if Kawhi Leonard is held out. All right, last but not least, let's talk about Denver and Sacramento.
Oh, I thought that was it.
No, yeah, Denver. I mean, they're all tournament plays anyway, so we can sit here and talk about it. But all these guys are below 5% ownership. Jokic, what a beast! What a freaking beast! Got 72.5 points, and he's at 1.7% ownership. So I can already tell you our leverage sheet's going to love him. What are your thoughts on these guys in general?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Nikola Jokic and SGA being last pieces in cash last night, and I mean, Nikola Jokic just every time he steps on the floor is kind of looking like Russ Westbrook, was walking triple double. Absolute menace. Yeah, so definitely going to be a fantastic tournament play at 10-2, going up against those Sacramento bigs and the likes of Marvin Bagley, Rashawn Holmes, Hassan Whiteside. Like, good luck trying to cover this man. So yeah, definitely a tournament play for me. Talked about Michael Porter last night as well, 6,500, sitting at that 6,400 mark. Minutes just haven't been there. Again, the short leash for Michael Porter has definitely been frustrating, but hopefully when we progress through the season, he is going to see some of those starter minutes. But yeah, right now, Matt, I do like Nikola Jokic, obviously, in tournaments. I wouldn't hate Jamal Murray if this game stays close, but it should. Yeah, that's kind of where, I mean, could stay competitive. So that's where my head's at right now.
I really do think these are two late night hammers here in both of these games between the T-Wolves, Clippers, and then Denver and Sacramento, because the over-under is really not that bad. 223.5. I'm not used to seeing Denver in high over-unders, and it seems like they're playing at a higher pace now through the last 2 seasons. So Sacramento, let's go ahead and talk about them. De'Aaron Fox at 7,600 bucks, 7.5%. We have Hield, always a tournament play, and Bagley. Do you have any interest in these guys?
No, more tournament plays for me. Yeah. Tough game last game for the Sacramento Kings as a whole. I feel like they all really struggled. De'Aaron Fox 4-12 from the field, only played 27 minutes. So yeah, I don't have any interest in these guys unless I'm talking about Hassan Whiteside at 3,700. No, I don't have any interest in any of these guys. Just strictly tournament plays. And I do like the Denver side a little bit more.
Yep, I completely agree with everything you just said. I'm not going to waste any more time, guys. We go live before lock every single night for NBA, and let me tell you, we give away some really good plays. We did last night, and I hate to break it to you guys, but TLC all the news came out after we got off the stream. I actually put that in the Discord. I have physical proof. I can put it up on our our live stream
Wanna
a
see
little
the
bit later.
proof?
If you don't
Wanna
believe
check
me,
tape?
my favorite GPP option was him, TLC, being slid into the starting lineup at min price
Wagon.
$3,100. Absolutely smashed value. Was one of my favorite GPP options in all my lineups. I was overexposed to him. So those lineups did very, very well. If you guys want to grab access to all of that and so much more, patreon.com/DGFantasy for $20 gets you all of that, plus a premium Discord chat, help, and for every single sport, guys. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please do hit that subscription button, notification button. Of course, smash that like button for all of our future NBA content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your night, and let's cash.
Bye, guys.